Oh, there we go. Hey folks, I decided today, I don't even know where this camera is. For today, I would do a little weight loss update, and as part of that, I did a little bit of what I could eat in a day. Actually, I'm in progress. It's like, oh geez, it's already past noon. I didn't wake up till 10 because I took the day off. But yeah, I made some breakfast, so I'm going to show that shortly. But I am also going to put in some weight loss update stuff, kind of intermixed, and some other cooking I have to do today. Of course, I have a day off, which just means I have to clean and cook. I don't actually have days off unless I'm going to Japan. So yeah, I'll show that. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm playing a bunch of the Elden Ring DLC too. I finished it, but I'm doing co-op with a bunch of people, just like co-oping for bosses and going through and doing my completionist run. So I'm not gonna show that obviously because it's very boring. But I'll show the cooking and I'll show the what I eat in a day, and I'll show some of the weight loss update stuff. So recently for breakfast, I've been making a bunch of scrambled egg sandwiches. Usually I have two, but today I decided to just have one because I just wasn't that hungry, and I wanted to get some fruit in. So I knew if I ate two sandwiches, there was no way I was going to eat the fruit, and I'm gonna cook more later today. So I just made two eggs with a little bit of milk, a little bit of margarine on the bread, like maybe 2 teaspoons total. And then I made my coffee, which is like 11 ounces. It's 11 ounces iced coffee, 6 ounces of high protein 2% milk, and some sugar free Hershey's chocolate, the zero sugar. It's like less than an ounce of that. And then I remembered I had to actually wash my blueberries. So then I got some blueberries. They're alright. So, oh, you'll get to see the scandalous inside of my fridge. Oh, I forgot to mention the bread I use for all my egg sandwiches, and if I just have like toast in the morning, I'm using this keto bread. The fiber is really helpful for me, and it's low carb. That's not that important for me because I'm not really eating low carb, but the bread is basically just a delivery device for the eggs. Eating straight scrambled eggs for some reason makes me feel gross, so I was like, hey, I need the fiber, and I do kind of need the carbs, so I use that. It's not very many carbs though. It's mostly just I use Fairlife milk, which is it's filtered, so I believe it's lactose free. I'm not lactose intolerant, but the reason I like it is because it is really high protein. It's 13 grams per an 8-ounce serving. I have some skim milk, which is what I use if I make a protein shake with protein powder. And then this is what I use for my coffee. I use the 2% because it would be super watery with just the skim milk. And I'm not that afraid about 2% milk. And I go back and forth between liking and 2% versus whole milk, but 2% has been good for me for the coffee. So I drink a pretty substantial amount of that in my coffee every day. I'm super caffeine resistant, so I drink a bunch of coffee, and the protein from that actually makes up a substantial amount of the protein I get in a day. Like, maybe like a third. So this is not actually Gold Peak. This is my own tea I made and filled this up with because I'm trying to save money, so I'm making my own coffee and tea now instead of buying it like a lazy person. So it's not Red Diamond either. This is also my tea. I haven't really been using this. I very, very occasionally have these, so I'm trying not to let them go bad, but just when I'm like, I need something sweet and I'm a little low on protein, I'll eat something like that. This is like my coffee stuff. The butter I usually only use when I'm specifically cooking or baking something. That's why this is all the unsalted stick butter. I accidentally bought too much. I thought I was out, and I intend to, I owe my neighbors cinnamon rolls, but I'm too afraid to make them because I'm going to be so sad if I make one and just like absolutely cannot eat one because they're probably like 500 calories a piece. So, I have sparkling water, and oh, I forgot I have these little zero sugar pudding cups for just sweet treats, but I don't, as you can see, I also don't eat them very often, so this one's probably gone bad actually. But I don't really drink sparkling water. I mostly just keep this for guests. But I have some of the LaCroix type stuff, but HEB, so it's cheap. I don't think they like their black cherry that much, so I should probably get something else. But yeah, I've got some strawberries that really need cutting up because they're gonna go bad, and some blueberries. I've been bad about like basically eating enough fruit and vegetables the past couple weeks ever since I've been like playing a lot of Elden Ring DLC. But I also have these. I don't know how quickly they'll go bad, but I saw them and I was like, oh, these look really nice, but I don't know if I should just eat them by themselves. They're mountain vegetables, Japanese mountain vegetables. So they have like, I don't know what they're called in English or Japanese right now, but the ferns that you get off of mountains and things like that, and mushrooms, and I like them. I have this bamboo that is also probably going to go bad, so I'm going to try to cook that today. And I have a turnip, turnips are nice. This is butternut squash, but this is for feeding my roaches. Although I do like butternut squash, I just don't cook it very often. I have some spinach I also need to use, and I have this lotus root that, oh, it's already starting to, I don't know if it's actually gone bad. Dang it, I thought it would last longer. I've never bought lotus root, but I thought I was going to cook it today, but maybe I won't. Maybe I will just cook. Anyways, I'm going to have to figure out, mostly I want to cook veggies. Need to come up with some sort of veggie concoction. And I have, oh, why is it so, it's because I froze it and so all this juice came out. Dang it, hopefully that doesn't make it too dry. But I have this top round roast. Trust me, it's not bad. It's just that I froze it and thawed it, so a bunch of the, not blood, but the meat juice came out. So maybe I'll kind of try to soak it in that somehow when I cook it. But I'll show you how I've been cooking this. I have a really good, it's not much of a recipe, but a good method that I like, because I cook it and then I kind of post-marinate it, and then I eat it. You can eat it hot, but I've been eating it cold, and it's a really good protein snack, because this is a really low fat cut of beef. So like something like this or sirloin, which I find hard to make like a good steak out of, but I make really good little like bites essentially. So I'm gonna show later how I cook. I'm gonna try that one more time because one, my dad called, and two, I was rambling again. But I decided I would show my weight loss update in the form of showing you my actual sequence of DEXA scans. They're super interesting. DEXA scans, like, if numbers freak you out, I probably wouldn't recommend them, but I'm just like a number nerd, so I really like to see it. And also I when it compares you, I wouldn't take it too hard when it compares you to the population. Like here, I'll show it now, where it says 8% of people have higher body fat percent than you. Bitch, where I live, that is so not true. Like, I was like, at least, is like, I would say more than 8% of the population around me is morbidly obese, and I'm not. So somehow I doubt that. But as far as people that get DEXA scans, probably, because I doubt that that many fat people get DEXA scans. I'm sure some do, especially some that are like mildly fat that want to console themselves and be like, I'm not actually that fat. And I was like, bruh, I have 91 pounds of fat on my body and I need to have like 40. So, yeah, no, you are fat. So, but also I think maybe if you don't understand how lean mass and can fluctuate, and especially like if you're a woman that has changing hormone levels, like premenopausal woman that has cycling hormone levels, and that's why I get them based on trying to hit the same time in my cycle every month. So things can change a lot, but lean mass, as you can see here, it also can fluctuate crazily. So the first two scans are from when I did weight loss back in 2021, and I do think I was probably eating fairly low carb, and I was working out, I was doing fencing at the time, so I think I was just very glycogen depleted when I did the second scan, and that's why my lean mass was so low. But also, it shows you that the mass I lost was not that much fat mass over the course of 6 months. Like, it was like 14 pounds. That's not a lot. So I was like, yeah, I lose weight pretty slowly, but I also am not, because I train and stuff, I try not to be hyper aggressive, because if I'm hyper aggressive about it, the training will really suck as far as the experience and also the results. So that's why also nowadays I'm not specifically carb cutting. I'm sure my carb is lower because I'm lower in calories and I'm higher in protein, so just it just gets a smaller share of the pie, and it's a smaller pie. So and you could kind of see what happens if I don't have as much carbs as usual, um, from the scan I got earlier this week, where my lean mass went down about 2 pounds from the month before, and I know it's carbs because it's I had just not been eating as much because I've been pretty sedentary. I was playing the Elden Ring DLC that came out, and so I wasn't eating a lot either. And what I was eating was not super high carb. Um, so I was having like egg sandwiches, and then I was going and having a poke bowl, which the only big carb source in that is like a cup of rice, which is a lot of carbs in and of itself, but in the context of it being like my main carb source of the day, it's not enough for somebody that's weight training and jujitsu training. So I'm training like weight training 2 times a week and usually doing jujitsu 2 times a week. So that's what it is. So you can see that a lot of the weight loss I had was from lean mass, and it's because it's water weight from not storing as much glycogen in my muscles. And I definitely felt it because I went and trained on Wednesday, like a few hours after I did this, and oh my god, it was so like one. It was obviously my trainer made me do something brutal, but for the first lift I did was squats, and we did almost the same sets as we had done the week before, and my legs felt like little baby deer legs. And that's probably because I had gotten a little bit glycogen depleted. So not as bad as I've had in the past, but yeah, it was pretty miserable. But you can see here, if you just basically if you just focus on the fat mass, you can see the effect that your weight loss is having. So yeah, the fat mass is down. It's interesting because even though I'm almost 10 pounds heavier than when I ended that other weight loss cycle, I am only 1.5 pounds away from being lower fat mass. So technically, by next month, if things go well, I should be the leanest I've been since probably 2014, no, 2015, before I gained weight before I went to Japan. So that'll be nice. Uh, but yeah, it'll be nice. I like to be leaner. I'm still heavy, so there's a lot of stuff that I prefer not to do that's high impact. Just like I will probably never really run. I would like to learn how to jump when I'm lighter, but that kind of impact is, especially at my age, because I'm 33. I'm like, I don't need to be doing more impact than is necessarily, especially because I'm already doing jujitsu, which is hard on certain joints, and I'm avoiding some. I really like standing wrestling, but I'm avoiding some of it right now just because my shoulders are kind of messed up, and a lot of falling can have a high impact on your shoulders. Even if you're landing well, it can be high impact on your shoulders. But just being tangled up with another person, you don't always get to fall in the perfectly ideal manner. So I was like, considering I'm like a really top heavy tree. I'm 5'8". When I fall, if I fall from full height and I don't get to control my fall 100%, it can be pretty hard on my shoulders. So yeah, higher impact like stuff like that I've been shying away from. But yeah, this is really interesting stuff. I really love these reports. Like I said, if numbers give you anxiety, maybe don't. But if you're just like a number nerd like me, it's really interesting. So yeah. Also, this is super weird. Um, but my power didn't go out today. But I got a message that they were doing repairs, and like a bunch of LED lights in my house today have been flickering, and I hope whatever they're doing is not destroying all my LEDs, because it's also doing it to some of the LEDs in the snake cages that are really hard to replace. So I might try to keep most of these lights off tonight, but you can literally see all the flickering. It's so creepy. So for the cooking, for the beef that I had, I mixed together some sesame oil and ginger and garlic. I just use a squeezy bottle of ginger and garlic because who cares? This is not the type of ginger garlic stuff that has like It doesn't have like sugar added to it or anything. It's just ginger and garlic and water essentially. So I had that. I seared that in a cast iron skillet. Put a bunch of pepper on there, some salt, and yeah, there it is in the skillet. Bunch of goopy ginger and garlic everywhere. So just searing both sides, and then I threw it in the oven. And while that was cooking, I cut up a turnip and I mixed it with some olive oil and Lowry's and pepper and mixed that all up and put some in the air fryer with some other frozen veggies. I totally forgot to show the rest of the beef recipe, but I essentially cut it up, mix it with some rice vinegar and soy sauce and a little bit of mirin, and then I had that with my veggies. Like I said, I've been eating it cold, so I also let it kind of soak and marinate, and then I completely missed the camera angle, but I portioned it into like 6-ounce containers and put it away for I guess tomorrow. So for dinner, a few hours later, I made some pasta. And so I heated up some spinach and some frozen chicken and added some crushed tomatoes with basil and some garlic. And I heated up some tortellini and added that and made this delicious high protein pasta. And it is the next day because I didn't finish this up last night, but I just want to wrap up. So, based on what I counted, I don't count everything just because it makes me neurotic. So, I don't count the veggies and the fruits and like incidental oil I use for cooking. Not saying they don't count. I just set myself in a higher deficit for the stuff I do count to account for that and try not to overdo it with the oil. Like, I try to be pretty sparing. But based on that, probably ate around 1900 calories yesterday, 1900 ish, somewhere around there. So it wasn't a super low calorie day, but yeah, I definitely burned more than that doing what I did. So today is big chore day and exercise day, so I'll probably eat a similar amount, but it'll be a bigger deficit. So, anyways, that was my update and what I eat in a day. So, have a good one.